I finally managed to get one for a reasonable price. I am so excited. I've already hooked it up and all. I'm not supplying any signal, so let's hope there's no smoke and it just turns on. Oh, that's not good. Huh.
This is the Akai EA-A7 graphic equalizer. It is one of the coolest hi-fi components ever released and probably one of the most sought after as well. This one sadly needs some maintenance. I suspect the electrolytic capacitors have failed since it behaves better after it has been on for a while. So let's get to replacing those. Sadly, some capacitor values are no longer available or are no longer in production. In this case, most of the capacitors with values less than 1 microfarad are no longer being produced. But I got lucky and managed to find them on DigiKey, although they don't sell them anymore either. For this assembly, first we need to remove 3 screws on the back and 4 screws on the bottom. I don't know why Akai chose for this design, because it's a pain to take off and put back on, but after some finagling you can get it off or back on. Next, the bottom plate and front panel can be removed by taking out 6 more screws on the bottom and 2 screws on the top. We don't need to separate the PCBs from the front panel, but we do need to take out the top PCB inside the body, which starts by disconnecting all the cables that can be disconnected and unscrewing it from the frame. Next, the front panel and top PCB can be flipped over to the back of the machine to give us some room to work on the inside. Now let's enjoy 2 hours of work in about 30 seconds. Reassembly is just the reverse of that, but I will try to tidy up the cables to look more like in the service manual, which are always really good on Akai equipment, but not always as detailed as the ones from Sony. In this case, at least, the disassembly process is really clearly detailed.
Got slightly ahead of myself and even put it back into the stack. Let's try it out.
After some digging around in the service manual, I found out that this equalizer uses the 4016 logic IC. This is a switch, an analog switch, which you can control with signals, and it basically shorts an in and an output with each other to do stuff. In this case, it switches the inputs and the outputs and the equalizer. I tested these with my multimeter, and in the circuit they showed that some of these were actually not correct. So I pulled them out, these ICs, and I replaced them with new ones. And that seemed to solve the issue. But when I went to test these ICs, the old ones, it still registered fine. I built a little Arduino tester for them, and they tested all fine. But I think maybe the different voltage levels, the logic levels, caused them to do weird stuff. So an Arduino tests at 5 volt, or it runs at 5 volt logic levels, and this thing runs at 9 volt or 15 volt logic levels. So maybe that's what's messing with them. So they test fine on 5 but are just crap on 15 volts. I'm not sure. But maybe, yeah, sand is weird and sand was never meant to think, so I don't know.
If you actually connect something to the input, that works, I guess. But what can you actually do with the thing? Well, you can play music. And it'll be an excellent spectrum analyzer. You can also do EQ stuff. I programmed these before. You can make them sound awful, or you can reset them and reverse them, and then they sound awful. I guess you can do this for tape recording, so like adjustments to make it not sound terrible if you have a really bad tape, like, I don't know, an old D90 that's been sitting for 1,000 years. You can only change the left side, or only the right one. You can defeat it, turn it off, and you can go back to the spectrum. You can turn off the equalizer, and turn it back on. You can change them here. You can change your EQ here too, which is nice, but this display is very old, so it's not great. When it was new, it would have looked better, so you would have seen the line through it, but not anymore, sadly. You can turn the EQ on and off, yeah. You can also change inputs, so I can go to the line input, which nothing's playing, or the tape 1, or the tape 2. I can also monitor a certain source, so this is tape 1, and this is tape 2. This shouldn't bleed through, by the way. I'm not sure why it's doing this. Maybe it's got something to do with the lightning damage it has, because I did spot some lightning damage, sadly. But it's fine. You can also see right here, this is the display, so you can see which is being recorded. It's currently off. You can see your tape, you can see what it's currently displaying, so this is spectrum, and now it's showing the curve. You can see which memory you have, the preset you have selected. Up here you can see the bands and the frequency, the total range in decibels. Here's your buttons to change your EQ. And this is really nice. This is all done digitally, no analog crap right here. So what you used to have with the older ones, I'll pause this, sorry. So what you had with the older ones is you had these dumb sliders that could get gummed up and sound awful. This is just digital, so it works always, I guess. Probably, maybe? I don't know.
And here are some of those beautiful caps I took out. Some of them are trying to explode. Nice, I hate Panasonic capacitors now. So yeah, that's it, video's over, bye.